Listen on your Amazon Echo device. Alexa, play Rock 102.1 KFMA.
You say it, I'll play it.
You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents. Wake up!
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Wednesday, January 11th. Good morning, Weirdo.
Good morning, Beef.
And good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got a great show in store for you today. No Powerball winners, so we're all broke together, and that's going to be okay because I have tickets giveaway for the legendary Jerry Cantrell. That's going to be a little bit later on. 4-pack of tickets for your Tucson Roadrunners. That's going to be happening, and I'll have a gift certificates giveaway for Tucson Games and Gadgets. So all that and more for listener bait as we get the show moving. And it's a celebratory show because we went viral yesterday, Weirdo. Did you know this?
Did we now?
Yes, we did. And this was in thanks in part to TMZ Tucson. Yesterday, I opened up the show talking about illegal sideshows, little street takeovers that's been happening in Tucson here since pandemic. And, you know, it's a generation of kids, and this is their idea of fun where they get together and they'll take over, you know, intersections or empty parking lots, and they'll do drifting, and a bunch of people will gather around and watch them smoke out their tires and all that. And as, you know, as an adult, if you're listening, you may be thinking to yourself, how stupid is that? I can't believe kids these days. But that's a ridiculous thought process because, you know, we're coming from like, I don't know, 4 or 5 generations of stupid now. Like, don't pretend that you weren't these dumb kids when you were these kids. And if you weren't, congratulations, you were probably paying attention in school and studying it up. But then you went to college, you did a bunch of different stupid things. So,
I mean, we came from the Fast and Furious age. We used to do like the quarter-mile racing down Speedway.
Yes,
So-
that's the thing. It's like, you know, with these kids, it's nothing new. It's nothing new at all. In fact, you know, for generations, you know, kids getting together, partying and doing stupid stuff is kind of like, you know, it's a birthright. Everybody goes through that phase, and hopefully you're lucky enough to make your way out of that phase and be able to look back or grow old enough to look at the next generation and be like, oh, you guys are so stupid, right? Even though you did the same thing. So we talked about the sideshows that have been happening all over town. And then immediately after that break, because I talked about it in the show open, I went to TMZ Tucson and I saw a video that was posted of a sideshow that happened literally right down the street from where I live. It was in the Albertsons Ross parking lot in Campbell and Glen.
Mm-hmm.
And this video grabbed my attention because there was a girl standing too close to one of these cars drifting, and she got macked.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
I did watch it after you posted it.
Yeah, it was good. Actually, I'm going to play you this clip real quick because so what I did was we looked at it again on the podcast broadcast, and then later on I clipped it, threw it up on our Instagram page. And then things just hit the fan, right? As of right now, I think 14,000 views, 511 likes. Yeah. Look at me going viral, right? Which is great. It's great for the show. But this is what I said about this whole scenario here. Oh, all right. That's all. It's boom.
All
right. So you got to see that. You'll see it on the KFMA Instagram page. But the reason why I'm even bringing it up and the intention that I'm bringing it up for is because these kids that are putting together these sideshows are inadvertently making me look like a snitch. They're making me look like a rata. And I am not a snitch. So stop snitching on yourself, please. Okay. So as far as when you post this video, and of course, the comments are open, and initially you're going to get the flood of people saying, "Oh, so stupid," right? And running that. I get a flood of kids who are actually putting this stuff together and claiming their crew in the comments. And one person was even clever enough to point out, be like, the Tucson Police Department are having a blast reading through these comments, and probably, it's not like unlikely that someone who works 12 hours a day in a car listens or follows the Rock 102.1 Facebook or Instagram page. Yes, there are cops that listen to this show. They are in cars for 12 hours a shift. All right, and they're not just listening to the CB radio. So yeah, there's a really good chance that this popped up on the police radar, and these kids are talking about the hoodlums are set. And some of these kids actually have it in their Instagram handles. They're literally like ratting themselves out on this whole thing.
Yeah, that's something like I always said to my kids. I was like, if you're going to do something stupid, don't film it and don't post it to social media.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't get. It's like, look, and I'm giving you a pass. I'm giving all you kids a pass, for calling me a podcaster. Yes, I'm a podcast broadcast, but you got to know the difference between the broadcast and the podcast part. But I'm giving you a pass for doing stupid things at this age. You're having fun. That's the right of teenagers. We all did it, or at least the cool ones did. And you're nothing special when it comes to that. You're not like breaking ground. You're not innovating anything. You're just having a good time. And just like your parents had a good time before you and their parents had a good time before them, right? It's a phase. And then hopefully most of you will be lucky enough to grow out of that phase. But some of you won't. And that's a reality as well. All right. But at the same time, the one thing that I have to clown on you guys is that if you are a part of this and you know that you guys are riding dirty and putting yourself in a position where you're going to get in trouble, stop ratting yourself out. Be a little discreet about it. That's all I ask, because, at the end of the day, I don't want that heat to come back on me like I'm the one that ratted you out. Because, again, I'm not a rat. I'm not snitching any of these kids out. You were snitching yourself out, and it's getting ridiculous. Okay. So,
stupid kids.
So stupid. It's great. Hoodlums, 520 on top, like things like that. Get back or get smacked. I learned a lot yesterday, weirdo. I am seriously in tune with this generation. Beef vegans for the kids. Trust me.
You're with it with the children.
I am so with it. In fact, actually, I accidentally, when doing a header, I'll bring up that point here in a second, because that is also a good point. But we got to do a live tease here. We're back on the podcast broadcast, as you can tell. Rock 102.1 KFMA. We're live on the podcast broadcast, joined by our good friend Powers. Good morning, Powers.
Beef vegans for the kids.
Beef vegans for the kids. As we're just doing our show open here on the podcast broadcast, you can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan, or on our social media pages, Rock 102.1's Facebook page, and on Beef Vegan's Facebook page as well, even on Twitch if you do that. Joining us on the podcast broadcast today, we're going to have AEW wrestler Peter Avalon joining us on the stream. There's a big show happening in Chandler, and him and the announcer Johnny LaQuasta, which I'm probably saying his name wrong, is going to be joining us talking about that. We're going to mark out with them, and we'll continue to talk about the Hoodlums crew knocking themselves out on the Instagram page, trying to look out for these kids, and they're inadvertently snitching on themselves, just being like, "I dare you to arrest me." And like cops are listening and being like, "Are you going to double dog dare? Because I'll do it, bitch." So we're making fun of them. You can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan, or keep it right here, because we got so much show to go. We're only getting started, and we'll be back live on the radio after a perfect circle. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Clear. All right.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, we ratted ourselves out by getting the 520 tattoo. You know what I mean?
Do you have one?
I do not. I'm thinking about it, though, because my boyfriend, he's from Pittsburgh. He's like, I want to get a 412. I was like, yeah, but when you do that in Tucson, that means you ghetto.
A 412?
Yeah. So
Where's...
412 is Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I said, but when you do 520, being from the old Pueblo, that means like you thug, you gangster, you kind of ghetto.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, that's
I almost got that. I want it.
no, and
I'm not going to get it on my cheek.
Yeah.
no. These
No,
kids
you'll
too.
get it on your neck.
Yeah.
Here's some of the comments that these kids were posting, and this thing went like wildfire, which I knew it would.
Yeah.
And it's good because we really want to cast that wide net this year online to let people know we're out here having fun. So this was super easy, and it was thanks to TMZ Tucson for posting this. But yeah, their comments are ridiculous, just completely snitching themselves out every step of the way. And some of them figured it out after the fact and deleted their comments.
Oh, duh.
Yes, but I screenshotted a few anyways. And
Screenshots are forever.
yeah, and some people are, of course, running their mouths about me and not understanding the concept of this show. A lot of back and forth. Let's see, like this one guy, and I want to give a shout out to Human Kuman, who had my back in describing this. But this guy, apparently, kids like to say if they don't like you, if they think you're stupid, they call you goofy or goofies. Right.
Okay.
So again, we're learning today.
Gosh.
Right. So Romer 0183 at hashtag Hoodlums Crew said this goofy wannabe podcaster just said they think they're Dale Earnhardt Jr. Bro, he doesn't even drift. He's a NASCAR driver. These dudes don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, which he's not 100% wrong, but Boomin Human came to my defense, and she said he's the radio host for 102.1 in Tucson. What do you mean, quote unquote, podcaster? And a couple laughing emojis. And she said it's obvious that it's a metaphor. Come on. And I'm like, yeah,
He doesn't know what a metaphor is. He doesn't know what the meta's for.
yeah. He's exactly. He's like, I'm not in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any metaphor showers in the sky last night.
Also, what professional drifter would we name?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I guess he'd be what, like Vin Diesel?
Yeah, I would have to say something Fast and Furious related because obviously it's something related to that. But again, these sideshows, the drifting, all that shit happened before Fast and Furious. Where do you think Fast and Furious got the idea?
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, 5-2 on top, a lot of stuff. Let's see. Hashtag 5-2 on top. Y'all goofy reporters are welcome to come see the shows live. No thanks. I don't like to hang out with minors on any day.
Also, I like my hip bone. It's going out on its own, but I saw what happens with those shows.
I will say this too, an update for the girl who got hit, and I sent her a friend request. She has not accepted yet because I definitely want to talk with her. But
Hold on, maybe I'm less threatening.
Yes,
Yeah,
do
let me do it.
yeah, well, I did it through the Rock 1 page,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So yeah. She was apparently drinking and allegedly, and she was for a fact trying to smack the back end of the car. That's why she was standing out there with her hand out, and then the car hit her. So the hashtag they kept saying was get back or get smacked. Oh, yes. If it rhymes, it's a pretty catchy catchphrase. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to the podcast broadcast. We're hanging out here with Powers and Weirdo as we're going over the fallout and the blowback from our post that we put on Instagram yesterday, showcasing a woman who got hit by a car that was drifting in one of these illegal sideshows that keep popping up all over town. This one was happening in the parking lot of Ross and Albertsons right there in Cambo and Glen. It's right down the street from my house.
That's our Ross.
That's what I said.
That's what you said.
That's my Ross.
I just bought some Christmas
Yeah,
presents
yeah.
from there.
Yeah, that's where I shop.
Yeah.
That's me, right?
That's because in that parking lot, Ross drift for less. That's why they're doing it.
They
there.
do drift for less, yes. And we point out the irony of these kids because they're doing this, and it is what it is. And of course, obviously, the adults and authorities get irritated by this, and they don't want it to happen. But in my defense of the kids, it's kids being kids. Yeah, kids are going to do stupid things as they hang out. They grow out of that phase, and then the next generation of kids, you just feel well knowing that the kids that are drifting today are going to procreate. So their kids are going to be even dumber in the next generation. This is how it works. De-evolution at its finest. But one guy wrote a big Chris Custer tagged the Tucson Police Department saying, he said, at Tucson Police Department, looking at these idiots outing themselves in the comments. And this is true, right? Because they're doing that. Not only are they outing themselves in the comments, they're braggadocious. They're like, we're gonna keep doing this. We run these streets.
Oh, you
It's-
gotta love when the new kids think they run these streets.
Yes.
No.
Let Uncle Beef talk to these kids real quick, okay? Because I want to give a PSA to these kids who are running these streets. Know that these streets are on lease, okay? Nobody runs these streets forever. We all get a shot at running these streets when we're young and we're dumb, and hopefully we're lucky enough to grow out of that and let the next generation of dumb kids run these streets, so to speak.
I'll tell you, with all the potholes, I'm surprised they could do this. It would be happy if the city of Tucson ran these streets.
No, that's true. In fact, actually, where do I put a complaint in the head of hoodlums are running these streets? When are you going to fix these streets that you run, bitch?
Right?
Yeah, all right. But anyways, back to the comment that Big Chris Custer wrote saying the Tucson Police Department's looking at all these comments, which they are, of course. Then Alexandria wrote, yeah, hell yeah, we do not give a single flying effaroo about cops. Like, okay.
And on next week's Morning Moron.
Yeah.
Right. So again, I just want to summarize in saying, yeah, I'm just posting content on the internet and it's fun. It's localism and that's great. If you get caught by outing yourself, just don't run back at me and trying to claim that I set you up or I'm a snitch, because I am not. I'm just posting it. You're the one in the comments saying that was me. I have the smoking gun in my hand right now. Don't do that, dummy. You know, if anything, you know, I wouldn't put the name of your crew in your ID online, because all they have to do is search online is hoodlums.
Yeah.
And now you got 30 people that all claim the same set.
Hey, it's good. That's what hashtags are for. You just round everybody up real quick.
Yeah, that's true. And it's hashtag 502 on top or hashtag get back or get smacked. It's right there. It's right there. And again, I'm not snitching. It's right there in the threads. We have a public Instagram page. And thank you for following it at Rocco 2.1.
Yeah.
Hashtag TPD arrested me.
Yes. So yeah, you guys are snitching on yourself, and stop. You're looking silly. All right, we're gonna hit the reset on the FM side and keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. There, we're gonna be joined by AEW wrestler Peter Avalon. There's a big show happening in Chandler that we're geeking out about. They got a great lineup. Eddie Kingston's on it. A lot of great wrestlers. So we're gonna talk wrestling on the podcast broadcast and have more coming up after Green Day and Seether. Rock 2.1 KFMA. Clear.
Can you say that girl's quote without bleeping it?
Fuckaroo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karoo.
We don't give a flying karoo.
We don't give a flying fuckaroo. Yes.
I stand behind that one. That needs to become a thing.
Yeah, I like that one.
Flying fuckaroo.
Yeah. One person said, and he ended up deleting his comment, was like, fuck Rock 2.1, blah, 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 blah. And then I just commented, we still love you. And then he went, yeah, actually, y'all are pretty cool. See, you know, all
Kill
that,
him with kindness.
look, these are just kids, you know, looking for the affection of an elderly person, you know, father figure, and like, it's okay, son, I get it. I mean, I
I get
disagree
it.
with your haircut, but I still love you.
As
Okay,
a father should.
yeah,
I get it. Your daddy left when you were 3. It's fine.
yeah. Maybe you don't know your dad. Maybe I am your dad. All these things are possibilities. Okay. That's
Can that be Can we just interview strangers and the segment's called Maybe I'm Your Dad?
right.
Just start asking the question like, oh,
Well, that's the reality, is that as we get older, you know, you and I and weirdos creeping up on us, but you know, with these kids that are doing these sideshows, we literally could be physically their parents. And you know, I know for a fact, actually, one of my daughter's friends, her mom actually dated you.
oh, geez.
Yes, that's a fact.
That's right. That happened. didn't
That has happened, and they listen to the show, and it's great. But you know, that's like, we literally could be these kids' dads at this point.
Oh,
As I
man.
text my almost 19-year-old, please don't be an idiot and go to these sideshows.
I did show my daughter this, and I kind of like preferenced before I played the video that this does kind of concern me as a dad, because, you know, I know that my daughter would be the type, these are all just kids that they look like the kids she hangs out with in high school.
Right.
And it's right down the street. It's in the neighborhood. So they probably went to the same high school that she's going to now. So it's very possible. So, you know, and it's not like I'm going to be like, you better not ever go to a sideshow. It's not that. You know, you want to hang out with your friends if that's the thing to do. I need her to always be aware of her surroundings and try to
Yes.
put herself in the
Right.
best possible position to stay safe.
You got to tell her, I know you're a little short. You cannot stand in the front row at one
Yeah.
of these things.
Right. Just listen to it.
Yeah.
And
little further back. Stand a little toward the Albertsons. You want to
Yeah.
stay further back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be that older person just being like, oh my God, they're gonna burn through tires. Tires are expensive. What the hell
Tires
are you
are
doing?
expensive.
Hey, these kids got money somehow. I mean, well, selling drugs is a hell of a profit margin. So
Plus, you can steal tires real easy.
that's true. Well, it's getting harder with all those lug nuts and shit like that. So, what Amber said, these kids are dumb. Were we really this stupid when we were younger? Yes. Damn, I hope the girl is okay though. It turns
Yeah.
out it seems like she is okay.
Yeah.
And luckily when you're drunk, sometimes you have that drunk luck and your body's kind of relaxed enough to where you can take a bump like that.
Oh, she was ragdolled. That's for sure.
Yeah, she was.
She
but
got,
she got
up
up.
and was walking.
Well,
she got up.
With help, though. With
Yeah.
help. There was
Yeah.
one girl who commented on here who showed up late to the sideshow and saw her getting like escorted away. And she's like, damn, I was wondering what happened to that girl.
Oh
I'm like, now you know.
Now you got the update. You're welcome.
Yeah. Let's see. Bree said, I wonder if she's okay. Why did she even step out like that? People are so fucking dumb. And then someone wrote, she's probably okay, just missing more brain cells this time. And she was trying to smack the back end. She was drunk. And so these are kind of like essentially the insight as to why she would put herself in that position. She was drunk, okay, A, and B, of part of the, I guess, the allure and the thrill for people spectating is to slap the back end when it whips around.
Mm.
That's dumb as shit. But what's the dumbest thing you guys did hanging out with your friends around this age? Would you ever, I mean, Weirdo, you seem like you would be a part of this crew.
I mean, I did go to a couple street races when I was in high school, but probably just the dumbest thing of like that any kid has an experience of like, oh, I started off here. I was telling my parents the truth. And then within 3 hours, I was somehow in Phoenix. You know what I mean? Just like the night carried on and that's where we went off to, but not too bad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I wasn't into the street racing. I definitely had friends who would do those, but we weren't doing sideshows.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of our stuff was just getting crazy at like the deserts, doing desert parties.
Yeah.
Grocery store runs we would do, and that's obviously criminal and silly, but our barbecues were off the chain.
Yeah.
I'm talking like fully catered with tons of liquor, and we're in a public park as minors drinking and barbecuing ribs and steaks and stuff. Like some of the grocery store runs that we did, me and my buddy Dan, who I've tattooed on my arm because he passed away. We would literally go up to the butcher and pick things out and then get that all bagged up, put it in the shopping cart, fill up the shopping cart, and then just walk out like you own the place. It was super criminal. But it was fun.
The balls on you.
Oh, they were always ginormous, metaphorically and literally as well. So, but yeah, it was good times. All right, we're gonna get ready here. I got Peter Avalon popping on here in a little bit, along with the announcer for this event, which is called the Red Carpet Rumble. Shout out to my boy, my friend Megaran. My boy, Megaran is a fantastic artist, and he's just connected in with the wrestling world. He's good friends with the New Day. He's I've interviewed him before. Sometimes he watches the podcast broadcast, joins in the comments. He gave Johnny a heads up to reach out to me because he knows that we enjoy this kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Hopefully we'll be talking with them here shortly. But earlier this morning, we debuted a new segment. It's called the Confession Session with Weirdo. So check this out. 2.1 KFMA. It's a brand new year here on Beef Vegan Presents, so we're going to do some new things here with you. And each and every Wednesday, we hope to bring this for you. So it's called the Confession Session, and here's how it works. Weirdo has asked her followers on social media to send her anonymous confessions they would like to share, just to get it off your chest, whether it's something embarrassing or stupid that you did in the past, and you just want to put it out there and get it behind you. Now's the time to do so. Course, you kind of want to keep it legal as possible. So, and unless you're talking about a beer run or something silly like that, but please no confession to serious crimes if you can. All right. So the emails and you can follow Weirdo on Instagram. What?
At weirdo_666. And weirdo is spelled WIERDO.
Yeah. She spells it even weird. She's just on brand. So with that said,
2 years, excitedly announced to me that she is pregnant.
okay, that's good.
Yeah. She doesn't know that I had a vasectomy before we got together.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that's a conversation they're gonna have to have soon. This is fantastic. I actually know someone who was in this exact same situation, and they were together. And yeah, she got pregnant in the whole nine, and he's just like, it's not mine, right? It can't be mine, right?
Ooh, that's
Ah,
rough.
What a great way to catch someone cheating. And it's always terrible to get cheated on. And it's heartbreaking. So, that sucks for that guy. All right, excellent confession. You got another one?
Yeah.
All right, this is the
So,
confession session.
The wife and I plucked up the courage to attend a swingers party.
Okay, yeah, then of course it's one of your friends.
Of course. As we pulled up, we saw my recently widowed mother's car in the driveway of the house that the party was being hosted at. My mom saw us, made eye contact as we drove by. We have not talked about it, nor have we attempted to go to another swingers party.
Oh, wow. So his mom is a swinger. Now we know how his dad passed away. Straight shock. 600 KFMA, 600-5362. If you have any confessions you want to share with us, what's another message you got there, weirdo?
So was riding on the bus and a man left a baggie in his seat as he left.
Okay.
I figured it was weed, pocketed it.
Okay.
Found out when I got home that not only it was not weed, but it was poo.
Oh, a bag of poo.
A bag of poo. And not sure if it's human or dog.
I would hope dog, but still, you're walking around with a bag of poo in your pocket. That's funny.
Oh, that's rough.
All right. What else you got in this confession session?
This one seems like a brave confession. It is, I frequently wear my wife's underwear to work. I sit in meetings knowing that I am wearing female underwear and no one else knows. It is a power thing.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, let your freak flag fly. So no judgment here. But it seems uncomfortable. It's not even if it was like a thong, like I'm sure women get used to thongs being in between your cheeks. It's that your boys, how do you keep that in the front? I can just imagine only one is in the entire time. The other one's hanging out, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for you because they're huge.
Thank you. All right. Any more confessions you got
All
for
right,
us?
got one last one. When I was 20, I met the perfect man, handsome, kind, funny, intelligent. Invited him to my 21st birthday with hopes of making a better connection.
Okay.
He met my sister. They've now been together for 15 years. Being the maid of honor at their wedding was the hardest day of my life, and I'm still not over it.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch. Pining for your sister's husband. That is brutal. But I have a feeling as I look into my crystal oversized balls that eventually they will separate and that'll be your time to make a move. And then you won't even have a sister anymore. You'll have a new husband, but no sister. Excellent confessions. Keep those confessions coming. Slide into Weirdo's DMs and follow her on Instagram, 666, and you spell weirdo all wrong. But you can also follow me at BP and you'll be able to see Weirdo. I tag her all the time in various posts and stuff. So she's easy to find. How's the audio when we go live? Because I did not like the audio sounding on the last one. Todd, let me know. I'll send you an invite as well. Now, Steven posted here, what's your thoughts on WWE being sold to Saudi Arabia? There's a lot of things happening in the world of wrestling that we do that we're going to talk about right now. Whether Peter Avalon joins us or not, I'm waiting on hearing back from them. The first and foremost, the big news was Stephanie McMahon has stepped down and resigned from her position as co-CEO of the WWE just a few, 8 days after it was announced that Vince McMahon was going to resume his role. It's one of those things that is heartbreaking to WWE fans because a lot of people were excited about the direction and the momentum that WWE was gaining ever since Vince McMahon stepped down. And now people are afraid that he's going to be back strangleholding all creative and turning it back to the shit product we were resenting but still watching in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know about this, Powers?
So what you just said is exactly true. And people are wondering if this was some of the plan all along. So when Vince came back last weekend, he brought 2 new board members and replaced other ones. So what does that sound like with any sort of thing? Oh, you brought 2 more people that'll vote for me.
Right.
So you got that sort of thing. He did say this as everyone's worried. I'm going to stay away from creative. So he's not going to touch creative. Supposedly this is him being back and they might be doing the sale, selling the actual company, which.
And we're going to get to that because there is speculation. And about 15 seconds before we're live on the air, we'll talk about the WWE sale. And do you believe, real quick, that Vince McMahon will stay away from creative? Do you believe it?
Yeah, no, I do, to get this part of it done, because it might just be done.
I don't. Yes, and I'll see. So Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents, hanging out here with Powers and Weirdo. And we're all three of us wrestling marks. So we want to talk about this big story. We just mentioned on the podcast broadcast that Stephanie McMahon has stepped down as her position of co-CEO, essentially retiring from the wrestling business altogether.
Mhm.
Yes.
Now this is a big sign. Now there's speculation because Vince McMahon returned to the company for the first time in 6 months because he had to step down amid sexual misconduct allegations,
Mhm.
right? So he stepped down. His daughter, Nick Khan, and his son-in-law, Triple H, resumed all the roles that McMahon was doing single-handedly, right? And doing a great job at that. Then it was rumored that he wanted to return because he felt like he got bad advice. And then he did a power play. The power play was, hey, you want to sell media rights? Well, I'm not going to sign off since I'm the majority shareholder. I'm not going to sign off on any media deal unless I'm back as CEO of this company. And basically strong-armed his way back in. A couple people resigned in the process. It was messy, but at the end of the day, he's back in power.
Yeah, and literally holding the hostage, being like, I will not allow you to renew your SmackDown contract or your Raw contract.
Yes.
So you'll lose your television in a year.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that is where they get a majority of their money is the television rights, right?
Mhm.
So this is a big deal. But, him going back and Stephanie McMahon stepping away altogether and just essentially throwing her hat in the ring, being like, I'm done.
Yep.
I think that speaks volumes, to be honest with you, and it's kind of concerning. Now, there are rumors that the WWE is currently in the process of being sold to a Saudi Arabian company. What is it called? RIF?
PIF.
PIF.
Yeah.
Okay, and that means the private investment firm. It's a Saudi Arabian private investment firm, and then the goal is to make the company private again. It would not be a public, like a stockholder company. It would be privately owned like it was before it went public with WWE in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, and it's not a done deal because Disney's also listed as a potential buyer.
As is Viacom.
Yeah.
They are everyone right now because of media and all the way things are Hulu, this and that, streaming services, things that like Crackle that want to become a better streaming service, right? Back in the day, they take risks on products, and wrestling, it might be considered still to some in media dirty or whatever.
Right.
It's a guaranteed like $2 million product. It's
Yeah.
a guaranteed ratings with the WWE. It's just a guarantee.
It's undeniable content that has a built-in audience that you could either grow, but you can't destroy, right?
Yeah.
So, like they know that the bare minimum, even on the lowest, is still profitable. And in this day and age, grabbing people's eyeballs and attention, what better than an institution that people literally have in their DNA? They've grown up with. I mean, you're a lifelong wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there any day, even through the lows of the last decade, wrestling has been terrible at times.
Yeah.
And you stuck through it because, again, you can't change your DNA on this. You're a lifer.
Right. And even if I was like, it's not as good anymore, gee, I could always watch The Rock. Wouldn't you as a company want to own the rights to Dwayne Johnson's entire career coming up?
Yeah.
Because that's worth a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. So that's what they're looking at, the IP. And it would be interesting. I will say out of Viacom, out of Disney, and all these companies are big companies that have money, right? And almost all the money in the world, but not as much money in Saudi Arabia.
Mhm.
No.
In the last 20 years, ever since, I don't know, September
Stop.
11-ish,
Oh my God.
they have
Lord.
accumulated tons of cash and control, and they're literally buying everything. And honestly, it's probably a good investment for them because they spend so much money just to have Saudi Arabia shows produced by WWE in the country. They overpay for that.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's almost like a discount if they buy the entire company outright and then just tell the wrestlers, hey, I'm going to pay you $20. Just you have to come to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and like it's going to be interesting because like when WWE merged with Peacock for their streaming services, right? Because they have the WWE network. Something I noticed, they're a month behind because I don't have cable, so I don't watch it live. So we've been trying to watch it, and it is a month behind.
Well,
yes. That's
so it'll be interesting to
WWE
see what if they stay with Peacock or if they go to a different streaming service or even go back to just WWE Network.
if they,
WWE Network is available around the world. It's only in America that we don't have it.
Yes.
Really?
Because
Yes.
of this merger with Peacock.
Got
They've always been in bed with Viacom. That's NBC
yes.
since Hulk Hogan, since Saturday Night's Main
Yes.
Event.
Yes.
So I'm
Since
vying.
Dick Ebersol.
Yes, exactly. I'm vying for NBC wants it.
Yeah,
Mm.
they probably do. It's part of their family of content. So, for what it's worth, Ariel Hawani, who is great on having insight of the professional wrestling industry and, of course, MMA industry, tweeted out, contrary to reports stating otherwise last night, there is no deal in place at the present moment for WWE to be sold to Saudi Arabia's Public Interest Fund or any entity, sources say. The organization is still exploring all options, and the story is still developing. So we don't know yet, but it looks like it's happening, and that's the reason why Vince McMahon is back in action.
Yeah.
So that's the drama that's happening behind the curtain in the world of professional wrestling. We'll keep this conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. We'll be back with more Beef Vegan Presents after music from Papa Roach and Bush. So keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Clear. All right.
Yeah, and the second that news is available, they're gonna post it because now there's all this like pressure on it. So hopefully soon we'll find out.
It's because there's a bidding war going on. It's a bidding war. Oh, well, Disney said they'll give us this. All right, well, they said this. Give them a day to counter that offer. Oh, they told us this. It's a bidding war.
Yeah. So Jeff said, dude, the paperwork has been posted, 8.5 billion. We'll see if those sources turn out to be true.
Yeah.
But that's a shit ton.
That
of
is-
Yeah.
So think about that, because this is the bar for the last, let's just look at the last 10 to 20 years of this sort of that we see, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Star Wars got sold for $4 billion.
Yeah.
All of Marvel. And when Disney bought Marvel, they stated it like this. And this is the thing that everyone's got to remember. And I've said this a few times. We bought their 5,000 character library.
Yeah.
That's what they said. We didn't buy Marvel Comics. We bought Marvel's 5,000 character library.
Yes.
Yep. And then the first thing they do is make Big Hero 6. That's a Marvel superhero. No one knows it. Guardians of the Galaxy. Team of Marvel superheroes no one's heard of. That's what they were doing. So
Right.
same idea. Those two properties, Marvel, Star Wars, $4 billion. And the rumor is that the WWE is worth $8 billion.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
That is crazy.
insane.
I mean, it doesn't look like professional wrestling is going away anytime soon. And that's the good news if you're a fan. But
I just want Triple H to stay in charge of creative for Smack and Raw. He's been doing a fantastic job with that.
everybody does. That's the popular consensus. And I would hope that it's such a popular consensus that Vince could at least give credit where credit's due to his son-in-law. But here's the thing. With Stephanie McMahon stepping away, we don't know. That leads to me to speculate an internal family conflict that she's just like, you know what, fuck you. Because look, if she stayed in her position and they sell this company for $8.1 billion, I know Nick Khan has, it's been speculated that he has a payout in his contract saying that if they sell, he's going to make a shit ton of money.
Right.
More money than what AEW gets for television rights in an entire year. Right. That was the quote. So, as co-CEO of a company that sells for $8.1 billion, I'm sure you get a percentage of that. Even if it's 0.001%, that's a shit ton of bonus cash. Stephanie McMahon has money, but anyone that has money always wants more money. So that makes me raise my eyebrow like The Rock and question what the hell's going on behind the scenes and what's really happening.
Or maybe she's just done. I mean, she made her debut in 98. She's been on screen since she was 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
They got 3 girls who are now, I think, all teenagers. Like, she just might want to step back and take a break.
She could have been done, and you could quiet quit and just kick back and wait to cash that check.
Right.
At this point, she doesn't have to do shit. So
Well, let's remember she had stepped back, right?
Mhm.
And then returns to do some of this stuff. So I was saying when we were playing before, I think it was to train Nick Khan. It was to work with Nick Khan, because again, who has co-CEOs? It doesn't work. You never hear about it. So for a temporary period, Steph, I'll help.
Right.
I'll help train him up. And then when I'm done, this and that. And to go by what you're saying,
Yeah.
everything's negotiable. Okay, and then when I quit, I still want to get paid out when we sell this company for the same amount. Oh, sure, we'll agree to that.
Mhm.
It's just a deal. Everything's a deal, and she's still a stockholder.
Yeah.
So that's it. And here's the funny thing about stocks, right? This is why Vince has the power.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, I believe, owns 54% of the stock of WWE. Shane McMahon has like 3. Stephanie has 3 or 2.
I
That's how
thought she had
much-
more than Shane.
It might, maybe she has more, and it might
Yeah.
be like that she has 5 and he's got 4 or 3.
Right.
It's literally, he's got 50 something. The next highest one is like Steph with like 5.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
his wife with like 10.
I-
It is that different.
And that's how you keep a majority share. And I thought it was more along the lines of like a 49 to 51%, but still, that gave him all the control and power to be able to flex and say no deal is getting greenlit unless I am back in this position. And so if that's the case, the rumor was the reason why he wanted to come back was strictly to sell the company. And it's the reason why Nick Khan was hired with the company in the first place. And they've been kind of setting things up, putting their ducks in a row here for the last 3 years. And then that would make sense. Now,
I mean, Vince McMahon's known for playing the long game. He
Mhm.
is. So
And he's this emotionless beast.
he
He
really
will
is.
absolutely sell this thing because he just got a window into like, well, they did it.
yeah.
Let's go because
Right.
it's not going to go without me.
Do you think it's going to be better or worse off if they sell to a Saudi Arabian or anybody, really?
Well, to anybody, I think it'll be. I mean, I don't know because
Depends
it's hard
on
to
who they
say.
leave in charge of creative.
It
'Cause
right,
that's the driving force.
right.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, whoever the booker, whoever's the head of the thing. That's what every wrestling documentary talks about. Whether it's Bill Watts or whether it's Jerry the King Lawler in his territory, the guy at the top really defines what's going to happen. So whoever they put in charge is going to define what wrestling is for us.
I will say this. So the optimistic part of me says, okay, well, they're a company. And if they put somebody in charge, ahead of creative, and they do a bad job, they'll fire them and replace them. Right.
Good point.
But then on the flip side, I'm like, wait a second, that sounds like Turner Broadcasting. They went through this,
Yes.
and the people they kept hiring were people that had no business being in that position, and everything went to shit. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's interesting, and that's the thing about professional wrestling. Sometimes the exciting and most interesting storylines are not what's being shown on TV, but what's actually behind the scenes. All right, earlier this morning, we did another segment with Weirdo. In case you missed it, well, a little something like this. Rock 102.1 KFMA. That, of course, is Evanescence would bring me to life. And I want to just give a congratulations to this dude named Rod, because he was able to find love again after getting his heart broken. And we all know that's a very difficult thing to do, and I believe that most of us out there listening have had their heart broken. And some it takes months, some it takes years. What's the longest you've had your heart broken, Enrico?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right. You're cold blooded, man. Well, the way that Rod bounced back is he found love in another object. He's an Australian carpenter who went shopping after a breakup when his fiance left him lonely. And that's not an unusual thing to do in this situation. But in this case, Rod went shopping for a sex doll. And then he took it a step further and decided to introduce his new $3,000 companion to his 85-year-old mother during Christmas. Oh, yes. The holidays are never awkward around Rod and his family. As you can imagine, his mom wasn't on board with the idea. According to Rod, his mom started treating Karina like a long-lost daughter. Oh,
Whoa.
yeah. So this was at first. So she wasn't on board at first, but then started treating Karina like his long lost daughter. And I'd be concerned about Rod's mother, like getting dementia or something. So Rod bought another doll named Lauren. This guy, he's insatiable, who he says is a daydreamer and Karina's sister. And now has a long distance relationship with a woman named Jenny in Vietnam. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Rod's ex-fiance really ruined him.
Or made him a legend.
Maybe. Now, Karina is an Instagram star. She's blowing up,
Oh.
getting lots of followers. He says he uses his spare time to bathe, dress, and pamper his dolls. Take pictures of them. And then since he started an Instagram account showing off Karina's modeling shots, that's getting more followers than me on
Yeah, no
Instagram.
kidding. We're
which-
doing something wrong here, bro.
Right. I need to become a sex doll just to get more viability and
Careful.
more value on social media. I don't know if they'll ever sell a beef vegan sex doll. Why would they? It's like a body pillow with
Smells like
aged-
Taco Bell hot sauce.
it smells like Taco Bell hot sauce for real. So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a bonus that we're going to play on our podcast broadcast and our podcast on Spotify. I got a bunch of comments here that are on Karina's Instagram page, which I'll show you this picture real quick. You can see Karina. She looks a little too young for my tasting. I would like my sex dolls to at least be 20 years of age. And I'm talking about the actual product in silicone. But yeah, you're going to see this on the podcast broadcast. We're going to read through these raunchy comments because the internet is savage AF. We got your F My Life's coming up next. Plus, we got another round of Tap Out with Tucson games and gadgets. So much more. So keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so here's the deal. We just went off the air and we're on the podcast broadcast stream. So here are some of the
Oh my
comments just on
God.
this post. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, apparently I played this yesterday. That's my bad. All right, hold on. I got to just play this speed break real quick. You'll be able to hear this.
Fair enough.
All right, hey, if I had an interesting weekend. That doesn't sound like a girl who five people. Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Oh my God, Beef. On Saturday, I got electrocuted.
What? How'd you get electrocuted?
We have an electrified water line in our laundry room, and my forehead touched the water line and got zapped by a 220 volt.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Are you okay? Do you have a mark on your forehead?
No, I don't, but I had a headache for 2 days, so that was fun. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10.
I'm surprised because you're usually into freaky stuff, so I'm surprised you didn't orgasm. There you go. There, that was a speed break from earlier. Just wanted to throw it out there.
Ridiculous.
I know. And in fact,
Well, I didn't hear him say the Fox 5 people while we were recording it until
Oh
he played
my
it back, and I'm
God.
like, oh, Jesus.
all right. So Johnny did message me back. He'll be on this podcast broadcast stream here shortly. Johnny LaCosta is the ring announcer here for the event that's happening this Saturday, I believe. Let me share the screen so I can show you the flyer on this massive independent wrestling show that's happening in Chandler, I believe, called the Red Carpet Radio.
No, Red Carpet Rumble.
Oh, sorry, Red Carpet Rumble. Yeah, United Wrestling Network put this together. So Eddie Kingston right there. You got Cole Cabana in the back there. Tons of different professional wrestlers. I'm sure you give me the whole roster, but you got a bunch of names. And that's Mega Ran right there, smack dab in the middle. I'm like, Mega Ran, did you put this show on, or are you performing? Something's happening. And usually he's performing. He's fantastic at it as well. So yeah, it'll be cool. And we'll talk with them for a few minutes, apparently. So there must have been a miscommunication on my end, and I apologize for that ahead of time. All right, so that's it. The Red Carpet Rumble in Mesa. Okay, it's Mesa.
Yes.
I was looking for that. All right, I'm stoked. And hopefully Peter Avalon joins us as well. Pretty Peter Avalon from AEW. It's not the first time we've talked with AEW talent, and Tony Khan a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we'll talk with Tony again. I don't know if I pissed him off last time.
No, we did all right.
We did okay.
Again, I saw some folks that he was obviously doing the tour, and they did ask him a few more questions that were a little more meh, and he did give in to some, and then those people's video went to 20,000 something.
I know. Yeah, just getting. I mean, he is pretty honest. I'll give Tony Khan that. And obviously, he's been dealing with a shit ton of drama, which is his locker room. But have you been watching AEW lately? You like the product?
I see a lot of clips. I'm still not the biggest fan of several parts of that show because, again, if we're talking about WWE, that's the thing about WWE. It is a style of wrestling.
Mhm.
It's the WWE style. When you do go to indie shows, sometimes you see a lot of holes in the product, and sometimes that shows up on AEW quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
A lot of flips.
Yeah.
And I'm not just picking. I mean, like, it is a lot of that standoff type of stuff after a whole bunch of nonsense,
Right. Yeah.
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 And that's only a few matches. Again, and that's the same thing in the WWE.
Yeah.
You're not going to like everything.
Yeah, we got it. All right. We have time to kill here. There's already what happens in a airplane when the door opens while you're up in the sky. Check this out. This is terrifying. They were flying over Siberia. All right. Yes. And then the door just popped open. That's all I know from this video. But look at this right here. The Daily Mail. Now, luckily, they're Siberian, so they're used to the cold. But they're just sitting there. You see all the wind, and everyone's calm.
Terrified. That's what they are.
You think they're terrified? They look
Yes.
pretty calm.
I don't
He's
know.
smiling.
No, look at that brow. He's terrified.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess you can see all three wrinkles, but
Yeah.
It's not like sucking out bodies or anything. It's just kind of windy in there.
Because that doesn't happen.
no.
That's a different thing.
Yeah. Just another reason why you should wear your seatbelt on the airplane. We're looking at a video on the podcast broadcast of a flight that was flying over Siberia, and then the door to the airplane pops open, and they just keep flying with the wind, and you can hear this. And luckily, I don't know if people passed away on this flight or at least one person. Somebody had to be close to the door when that happened. But, this video is going viral and on the Daily Mail. And
If that was an American flight, it would just be all these Karens, and you just hear boom, boom, boom. Everyone's pushing the call button.
And that's the thing. So they're flying over Siberia and they're Russian, essentially, right? And they're just like, yeah, here's just another instance where my life is in jeopardy. Oh,
Yeah.
well, right? Like you don't see them, you don't hear them crying, and you don't really see them freaking out. Yeah, some people in the flight looked concerned-ish, were somewhat concerned, but definitely not like freaking out like they're all gonna die.
Well, they probably realized that, it's safer than a lot of those dash cam videos I see in Russia, so that they're still like, you know what? It's better than being on the ground on the road.
Yeah,
That's
very
true.
true. Yes,
That's
very-
true.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to be keeping this conversation moving on the podcast broadcast today. We're hopefully going to be joined by our guest before we run out of time. Our beef tip is coming up next, though, so stick around. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Johnny, bro, I said I have till 10 a.m. So this was something that I was setting up like last year as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Johnny, man, it's gonna be like 2 minutes of conversation, if that. You got to get on here quick if you're watching. So just follow it through. So, and that's why Powers is in too, is a surprise bonus appearance of Powers. I appreciate you coming in. I'm like, hey, we're gonna talk wrestling, which we still did. Mission accomplished.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
We did. We talked about that wrestling news. I
That's
somehow
true.
didn't do any funny voices.
Oh, you did a little bit of McMahon's.
Okay. Kind of.
Yeah, you did.
Hey, pal. Let's do it.
All right, a couple cool things that I want to talk about real quick. I posted it yesterday on the Facebook page, but the Local Love event. So, Local Love, it's Brent is a local promoter who puts together these fantastic local shows all the time. 191 Tool, Rialto, whatever the case may be, and they got a 10-year anniversary concert that's happening at the Rialto on February, I think, 25th. And so they reached out, and it has Stands with Fists going to be on it, Held
Nice.
Out. Our friends are going to be on it. It's a stacked bill. And Brent reached out and asked me if I wanted to host the event. And I said, absolutely. I can't wait for that. So that's going to be at Rialto Theater. It's going to be a low dose show. It's a party. And that whole day is going to be a party for us because yesterday I was talking with Shane with Tucson Foodie. Their pub crawl is that day, right?
Oh.
Yes. And he asked me if I wanted to come out to one of the breweries to do some music. And I was like, I'll do one better for you. We wanted to do a happy hour podcast here for quite some time, put together a live show from, I think it's like 2 to 5 to do beer tasting and have some friends come out and perform acoustically, play some games with people who are drinking. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing on February 25th. So mark a calendar and be ready for that. We're going to be taking over. I forgot which brewery he mentioned, but of course, I'll give you more details as we get closer to the event. But it's going to be Saturday, the 25th. A full-blown takeover of a blast. We'll catch a beer buzz at the breweries, do the pub crawl, make our way over to the Rialto Theater and rock out with our local rock stars because they're good. So
Yeah, no, that looks like a solid lineup. I really like Theo's side. Check them out at the Glow Show. Really like the singer with his unclean vocals. And then, of course, Held Out. And then Stands with Fists. I mean, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
I always like the Local Love metal shows.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's massive one. It's Rialto Theater, so we want to pack it out and give full support to that, and we'll go out and host it, and that'll be after we do our little podcast, which hopefully we'll be able to. I'm utilizing this moment, and this is a peek behind the curtain to basically produce a demo, so our salespeople could sell future happy hour shows to other breweries around town after the fact, because I feel like we can format a very enjoyable time easily because we're natural entertainers and play some games and also learn some shit about just brewing
That, we got a lot to learn.
yeah but doing some tasting, talking about the process. So what's your thought behind this? Why is this good? What how'd you do this? Whatever the case, our curious minds, and we'll get answers while we're all sipping along to the same things. I think it'll be a fun experience for all, and of course all the OG streamers are invited to this.
Yeah, and to be able to get me, Powers, Rico, Mark, get all of us together in one spot too at the same time would be dope.
Yeah. I wouldn't count on Rico though. He likes to flake out on events, but I mean, at least the three of us be partying it up.
Sure.
You had me at Powers. Like, I love being on with him. It's fantastic.
Rico's invited for sure, but I mean, his first reaction before he, I'm like, hey, you think you? He's like, I have to work later. Yeah, you have to work later. In fact, actually, you work after. Like, it's so perfect for you to show up to this. So I have a few weeks to convince him to participate. So yeah, all of us would be great and ideal. Bring the whole crew out and we'll have a setup. We'll bring the banner out.
Again, this goes with kind of like the plans. Like, it's fun to throw shows, but I was like, you should host other people's shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
is awesome.
Yeah. Part of the 2023 initiative and stuff is not bury myself with too much outside responsibility and liability, and just, participate and support those who are doing the things that I've done before too. So Brent, like-minded people, it's just kind of super supportive. In fact, actually, I want to take this moment to talk about PC. PC was a man who was a supporter of local music in Tempe, Arizona, for decades. In fact, he's one of those guys. You need people like this in any art community, right? And I was one of those people. My friend Manny, who passed away, was one of those people. It's essentially supporting those people who are passionate, who have talent and have dreams, and being the person that makes shit happen, the glue, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
PC was that guy. Ever since the 90s explosion of Mill Avenue, Tempe, with the likes of Meat Puppets, Gin Blossoms, Roger Klein, and the Peacemakers, who were the Refreshments at the time, he was that guy. Right? There were so many bands that I've worked with, fell in love with, that wouldn't have been bands if it wasn't for PC. Paul Cordova, I think. Is that Cordova? I'm going to pull up something I'll show you. But I've been sharing some stuff on my social media. So unfortunately, PC passed away. He passed away shortly before Christmas. And this was heartbreaking for everyone who knew him. And he was a legend. I'm saying a motherfucking legend. Like, this guy, like... yeah, I brag about the little legacy that I developed in my 7.5 years doing my show up there. Nothing in comparison to PC. He seriously, like, so many cool things that happen just with live music in general in Phoenix and Arizona were directly attributed to his passion and contributions. So when he passed away, they wanted to do something special. Everyone who knew and loved him. So they put together this festival at the Yucca Tap Room. They took over the parking lot. So it was 2 stages, about 20 bands, and it was sold out. It was packed. It was 1 in, 1 out the entire night. And I unfortunately could not wiggle out of work and my responsibilities. I wanted to be there so bad, and I'm regretting it and I was depressed. There were so many different hugs I wanted to give to my friends up there who were all mourning the loss and celebrating the life of a legend, somebody who literally made a mark so big that the mayor of Tempe actually announced it as PC Day in Tempe.
Wow.
They came
That's
out, did
awesome.
an announcement. The Gin Blossoms came out to perform, surprisingly, right? Not marked on the bill. They came out, did performances for their friend PC. Roger Klein, who's not on the bill, came out, performed for PC. Jason DeVore, Authority Zero, our friends there,
Nice.
came out, performed for PC, right? And all these other great local bands and musicians. And it was such a lovely tribute. It makes me sick to my stomach that I couldn't physically be there, but I was watching online. I was there in spirit, and losses like that are huge, but they're, luckily for us, they're not as big as the legacy left behind and the people that they helped along the process. So, I just wanted to say my words about PC and my thoughts on that.
Well, there you go.
I saw your post about that, and I was
Yeah.
like, that dude seemed really awesome. And like, again, you need those local promoters to keep pushing.
Yeah, and he wasn't even a promoter. He was a musician. He was the guy who would get and fill in or put bands together, or even just give the advice and throw the connections and make things happen for other musicians in the area. We're talking about PC, who passed away up in Tempe. He was a legend that I was just sharing with on the podcast broadcast. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, and I ran out of time for our guests, Johnny, Peter. I said 9 o'clock hour. That doesn't mean 10:03. But either way, they have an event up in Mesa, and you could Google it or just check out my Instagram page. Powers, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Before we run out the door and pass it over to Robin Nash, I do have a beef tip for you. And today's beef tip is a TikTok hack for when you can't remember someone's name. This is what they say. They say anytime you can't remember somebody's name, just throw out this fake factoid. And the factoid is, Do you know it's really hard to say your own name 3 times fast because you're not used to saying it? Now it's BS, but most people don't know that. And then you get people being like, oh, really? Beef, beef, beef. You dummy. And it's like, no, you're the dummy because you just told my name. Now it's ingrained in my brain.
That's ridiculous.
All right. The real beef tip is when you don't remember somebody's name, for guys, you say, what's up, buddy?
What's up, champ?
And for girls, you say, hey, girl.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And if you hear me saying that all the time, don't be mad. I just have a terrible memory and I don't know who you are. Right, buddy?
You got it, pal.
Way to go, guy.
Yeah,
Hey.
thanks, girl. All right, we're out of here. Drive safe, ride safe, rock local. Later.
So good.
You wish upon a side of beef. So
Thanks for watching, guys.
Later, guys.
And to all your grief.
Now we have Johnny. Now we have Johnny. Johnny, we're done with the show.
I will knock out all your teeth.
Seriously?
You should fade.
Let's see. Johnny, we ended the show literally just now.
That was the end music.
That
I
was
thought-
the intro.
You're a liar. You said 9 o'clock.
Oh, where is he?
We're in LA.
Ah, the old time displacement.
Is Peter?
Oh, you're kidding me.
Nah, it's all right. I mean, well, we just missed the FM side, but we got Peter too. Weirdo, I know that you're going to. You need to talk to Mac, right?
I do.
All right, get out of here. Talk to Mac. Get that done. And that's fine. Johnny, Peter. First off, I apologize for the misunderstanding, and I think daylight savings time just changed recently.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
Was it 3 months ago?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh,
I
I
didn't get the email until about 20 minutes ago. That's the weird thing.
And well, that's on me. Well, anyways, welcome to the show. We got pretty Peter Avalon. You're looking very pretty too. You know, even the more hair looks good.
I'm jealous.
And Johnny, how do I say your last name?
LaQuasto.
LaQuasto. See, I knew I wasn't butchering it, Powers.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Yes, they're all a part of a big show that's happening here in Mesa this Saturday, and it's called the Red Carpet Rumble. And there's a shit ton of talent on this bill as well. You know, who's the promoter putting this together? This is actually a big deal.
It's me and David Marquez at the United Wrestling Network.
So yeah, you're locked in. These are all your buds that you work with all the time. You know,
Some of them are buds.
Yeah, some of them are buds. Some of them you don't like, but you booked them anyways.
That's business.
Now, what makes this a red carpet rumble? Is this kind of like you're gonna have a battle royal as well, Peter, or like what's the card look like for this? And then we'll talk about the lineup.
The Red Carpet Rumble is a big 30-man over the top rope battle royal where the last 2 people remaining end up having a singles match, and then the winner of that is the Red Carpet Rumble winner, and they eventually get a shot at the the United World title.
Oh, nice. Who's the United World Champion right now, or is that vacated?
Danny Limelight.
Danny Limelight. Okay,
Yeah.
You know about Danny Limelight?
I feel like I've heard his name a little bit, but yeah.
Yep.
Where-
He's been tearing it up lately. He's been on AEW and a bunch of the others. He's been on television. He's a very talented wrestler.
He's had a long journey to finally get his title opportunity. In my role with United, I represent the entire committee of the United Wrestling Network. So I try to keep things in order, which doesn't always happen. But yeah, Danny just won the title a few weeks ago, actually on Christmas Day, on the episode for Christmas. He defeated Jordan Clearwater, who was champion for better course of well over 6 months. And Danny's going to be facing Eddie Kingston for the United World Championship at the Red Carpet Rumble, which Eddie Kingston, you want to talk about a rocket ship the last couple of years. He's finally getting the success and the praise that is very well deserved.
Yeah, a longtime independent wrestler, you know, and a mainstay on AEW television. The guy is phenomenal on the stick and, you know, has a great persona and is good in ring. He's like the everyman. And having Eddie Kingston on this bill's a big deal as well. That's what's great about the AEW contracts is this open, you know, contracts where you could just do all these type of shows, you know, all over the country and the world, really, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's
yeah.
great.
Is there any negotiation that you have to do for any AEW talent that has to do with Tony himself or the office, or
we just deal with the office?
Okay. Yeah, and say, hey, I want this person, this person, this person. Is there anyone that they don't let you have when you put together these shows, Peter?
A couple, sometimes the exclusive people. Like, you just got to get permission, pretty much. There's a couple guys who can't, real high level guys.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing this promotion?
Oh man, I've been at United now.
2010.
Man, I've been since 2010. I've been in charge though for past few years.
Yeah.
I ran a show that was regional to Arizona, and then probably within the past year or two, I've now been in charge at Championship Wrestling.
So the United Wrestling Network, I mean, essentially began, we could say 15 years ago. Peter and I met in 2010 when Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, the television show, started locally in LA. And at first, it was a branch of the NWA. Eventually, we went away from there. And it started picking up television markets all across the country over the last number of years. And, you know, a lot of people have come and gone. You know, you saw Pete have a lot of success with AEW. That's the cool part about the United Wrestling Network is we always say the door is always open. If you're contractually able to come and compete with us, we want to have you. You know, even for me, it's 2019. I went to WWE, and you know, 6 months ago when I moved back to the West Coast, I said, "Hey, do you think you might need me in the United Wrestling Network?" Sure enough, yes, there was a role for me, and now I'm back. And so it really is an amazing family. And with the United Wrestling Network now, we're on over 150 markets all across the country. You could watch every week on Fight TV. You could watch every week on YouTube. It truly is everywhere. And this show is, I don't know, Pete, would you agree this might be the biggest event United's had in probably a decade?
Definitely our biggest show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is I'm not familiar with the park. I am familiar with the whole valley, but Bell Bank Park, Mesa, what's the capacity for this venue?
I want to say 2,000.
Yeah.
Nice.
Something like that. It's pretty new.
Yeah, and you know what? In Arizona in general, this is we haven't had a good wrestling show come through town in a year, at least over a year, that we even had like a WWE house show. AEW hasn't hit this market yet, and Arizona, not yet. So yeah, I think the timing is perfect for this, because a lot of rabid wrestling fans want to see some great live action, and of course there's some indie shows in there, but this is a bigger end indie show with a lot of like televised names, big household names popping through and doing their thing. So I'm excited about it, dude. And Johnny, you have a fantastic radio announcer voice too. You've been in the game for a while, huh?
I don't actually work in radio. I'd love to at some point in my life, but
like announcer voice. Yeah, you got, I mean, you've been doing the announcing, and how'd you get into the industry?
Oh yeah, I've called many a Peter Avalon match over the years. Some of my favorite matches actually involved him. No, in 2010, same thing, similar to Peter. I met David Marquez, and he said, "Hey, I'm starting a television show. I need someone to do interviews," and I was in. And then it eventually led to doing everything with a mic, including play-by-play, and that led to, you know, going to WWE, and eventually also helping bring wrestling to Pakistan and creating a tour to go entertain our troops overseas. I mean, it's just the stuff that wrestling has given to me. I'm super grateful for, and it makes me all the more excited to do such a big event with United, because Pete and I know, I don't want to say the humble beginnings, but it really was when we started the show in LA in 2010, basically just in the LA market. And now people can watch all across the country. You could watch internationally, you know? And so it's going to be a big event. If you're anywhere in the area, if you're in Tucson, it's an easy drive, 90 miles, whatever, come join us. I mean, we got Mega Ran performing. It's an amazing venue. And trust me, you're going to have a good time. That's the most important thing about wrestling. Put smiles on faces, make people excited, let people cheer, let people boo. That's what United's all about. If you love wrestling and you don't want to think too much, you just want to enjoy yourself, that's what we're going to give to you, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be entertaining. Mega Ran is fantastic as well. So what's the setup of this show, like the format? Are you going to have Mega Ran perform almost like a halftime thing? He's going to kick off the show. Is he going to perform afterwards? Do you know what's going on with that?
He'll probably kick the show off, I'm thinking.
Nice. Yeah, let's talk some inside baseball. Okay, there's a lot of like rumors and rumblings in the world of professional wrestling on the business side, right? Because have you guys heard the news that Stephanie McMahon stepped down from her position in there? So we're speculating all day. If you feel free to speculate, because this feels like this is a knee-jerk reaction. Like this wasn't something that on the surface should have been done. She could have easily just wrote it out until they sold the company and got paid out. It seems like she's almost like upset to a point where she just bounced and said, "I'm done with wrestling." How off do you think I am in speculating this?
I honestly don't know. That whole company is an enigma on its own. They do what they want, you know.
Yeah. What's been some of the pleasures of working with AEW? I mean, obviously coming from an independent wrestler standpoint, this is a promotion that has championed the independent wrestler and mindset of their talent being their creative as well.
The freedom is probably the freedom to do what I want is probably the best thing about it. They need me for their television and their YouTube, and then they allow me to go and expand and spread my wings and other stuff. I've definitely had the opportunity to be featured in New Japan Pro Wrestling this year, also featured in the NWA, on top of being featured on AEW television, AEW YouTube. I've gotten to film a couple independent films. I've gotten to travel to Germany, travel to New York City, and traveled all over within the past 6 months. I just did 20 days in Mexico where I just was training Lucha Libre. So the freedom that they give me is incredible. I can pretty much do what I want.
And
That's
on
amazing.
top of that, if I could follow what Pete said, just seeing how Pete has grown over the past decade, there isn't anything he hasn't done even behind the scenes in wrestling. Like he's one of the most, like you talk about having different tools in your tool belt. That's exactly what Pete has done over the last decade. There isn't anything he can't do and do very, very well. And so it's so fun it's great to call him a colleague. You know what I mean? We've had a long journey for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And especially when you know all sides of the business and you actually have experience doing all sides of the business, I'm sure that helps you as a performer as well. If you were to fantasy book your character, Pretty Peter Avalon, in this next year, like who would you work with and why?
Fantasy book, man. My dream is to wrestle Christian. I would love to wrestle Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that'd be the match.
Oh, he is the man. He's one of my favorites. Who doesn't love Christian? I mean, he's the worker's worker. All right. Well, let me ask. I know that Powers, of course, you go by Pretty Peter Avalon.
Yeah.
And Powers, you have a question and suggestions for Peter.
Absolutely. Even Weirdo was helping me with some of these ideas, right? So Pretty Peter Avalon, right? There he is, looking good, looking great. But how are you treating fans these days? You're a little meaner these days. You're nicer these days.
Ooh, probably a little meaner.
Okay, because that's going to help us with what we're doing next. Because you see, the thing that I think that Pretty Peter Avalon needs to think about is sometimes when his attitude changes, we got to change some of that adjective up. Right. And right now, I'll tell you what, you might need a shot of coffee. I could see we need a little Perky Peter Avalon. That's what we need.
Perky Peter Avalon. You think that would look good on a t-shirt?
I think Perky Peter Avalon get the job done.
All right, one
coffee sponsor.
Yeah,
there you go.
Wouldn't that be great? You have Folgers as your sponsor and your Perky Peter Avalon.
That's right.
Or Starbucks if you want to talk about big money.
Or eventually, depending on what kind of boat you decide to buy, Pontoon Peter Avalon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're getting ahead of us, Johnny. We almost got there. We got more.
I got to cross Pontoon off. Perfect Peter Avalon. I don't know if Kurt Hennig get upset by that. You got to watch out.
It's all right. Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
Or prolific
he's not here
Peter
with us.
Avalon.
The prolific Peter Avalon.
That's a good one, yeah.
Right. Start projecting.
Okay.
Now, maybe he does want to be a little more, centered. Peaceful Peter Avalon.
Peaceful Peter Avalon. That's right. That's right.
If your character goes into like a meditation, you start getting zen-like.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Start doing some breathing meditation, like cold
Yeah.
water, Wim Hof stuff. Yeah.
That's a good heel character right there because everybody hates those people.
You're right.
And a couple more?
Yeah. Get here. What
All
do you
right,
got?
I got the picturesque.
That's
Peter
what
Avalon.
I think that's the winner,
I
personally.
like that one.
Very
That's
much so.
Picturesque Peter Avalon. Look out.
That's
There you go.
right.
He's already got the hand motion.
Yeah.
Screen
And
cap.
maybe it is just he comes out, he's shaking hands. He's the polite Peter Avalon.
That's right.
Never going to happen. I can confirm that's never going
Thank you.
Forget it.
I love it. And it's great because in the world of YouTube, you can cast this, web of entertainment and you put it out there and grow your audience organically. And you could do these things independently and also benefit, monetize, and be able to run a great business. So I wish you guys the best in the entire league. This show is stacked from top to bottom. I'm very excited about it. I like the format, and you guys are everyone's competing there to become basically the number one contender to win that title that night. So there's going to be a championship bout that night. But are there other belts that are on the line on this bill?
Yeah, we have the Championship Wrestling Heritage Championship. Kevin Martinson is defending his title against the one and only legend Davey Richards. That's going to be
Yeah.
a hard hitting match with two guys that are just animals, man. They're going to beat the hell out of each other. It's not a title match, but we have Eddie's boy Ortiz is going to be wrestling Arizona's own Hammerstone. So that'll be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah,
Oh,
Hammerstone.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you know
we also-
Hammerstone.
Yeah, we have the United Tag Team Champions, the Reno Scum, defending their title against the returning Midnight Heat. That's going to be a fun one. We also have the
Grand Canyon Clash that you're in. Well, talk
That's
about
right.
that.
We have the Grand Canyon Clash. It's not a title match, but it's a big time grudge match against me and Arizona's own R3, that piece of shit. And then we have our TV champion, but he's not in a match. He's going to be featured in the Red Carpet Rumble.
Nice.
Jordan Cruz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And is there any gimmick matches? Any other gimmick matches? Any ladder matches? Any?
Grand Canyon Clash is a big time grudge match between me and R3. And then the Red Carpet Rumble is the big gimmick match.
Nice. I love it. Awesome. Oh,
That's great.
well, when do doors open? How do people get their tickets, and where do we direct them online?
Real
United
simple.
Wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead. Pete.
J-Lo. You got it. I was going to say the United Wrestling Network social medias, and I think we start at 6 o'clock.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got United Wrestling Network on Instagram, United Wrestling Network on Facebook, on Twitter as well. Tixer.com, Tixr.com. You could find it there. But just find our social medias. Click on the link. And the best part is it's affordable for the family. You know, you're not going to go broke coming to the Red Carpet Rumble. You're gonna get your tickets. Your kids are going to have the best time ever. This is completely family friendly. We want to see 5-year-olds. We want to see 75-year-olds. That's what United's all about. We're not bringing sand to the beach. We bring great professional wrestling. We bring great action. We bring laughs. We bring drama. Anything that you loved growing up with wrestling, you're going to see with United Wrestling Network, Red Carpet Rumble this Saturday at the Bell Bank Park in Mesa, Arizona.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a great venue. I've skated there before.
Oh,
It's
you have?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
roller derby up there, and it's amazing. It's
Cool.
gorgeous.
Cool.
That makes sense. With all these towns, they build their kind of complexes, and so this is gonna be great. Chris and well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I'm looking forward to this show. It's gonna be a banger, and I hope that we talk to you soon. This is a great time to be a professional wrestling fan. You know, it seems that when people doubt this industry, it just continues to grow and to evolve. And now there's so many opportunities, so many different organizations, and of course, so much television and companies putting content out there that there's all these great talented wrestlers making a name for themselves and rising to the top. Peter Avalon, you are one of them, and I appreciate all the hard work you're putting in behind the scenes, and I wish you continued luck in your career.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the show. It's going to be awesome. People can come early. There's going to be a meet and greet with all the wrestlers. You can buy your favorite T-shirts and then stick around and watch the show. There's going to be food and beverage available at the park. So it's just an all-encompassing event with a lot of fun. If I was not on the show, I would be going as a fan, just watching, checking it out, buy a front row ticket, VIP. Why not?
Right. Yeah. It just seems like a good time. And that's what it is. From beginning to end, a good time, kicking things off with Mega Ran. Musically, he puts on fantastic live performances, a great artist, and it will get people amped and hyped up. And he is a genuine wrestling fan as well. He's definitely got some songs. You'll catch some references too. If you know the industry lingo, he slips it in there. He's real big into video games and professional wrestling. He's all over the place. So thank you again, Peter Avalon. Johnny, thank you again so much for setting this up for us and participating. I hope to meet you again soon. And I'm sure this won't be the last time.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. We're going to wrap it up on the live podcast side, but you'll be hearing this again tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for checking this out.